So this is my nose. I am now a year post-op. I'm actually 15 months post-op, but potato potato. This is it from the front, from the side, the other side. And yeah, I'm really happy. I love my nose. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Tilly, and in today's video I'm going to be giving you a 1-year post-op update for my nose job. Okay, so I keep getting questions on TikTok and Instagram and people in real life about my nose, so I'm just going to answer the questions that I get asked the most often. So question number 1 is breathing. How is my breathing now compared to what it was before? I didn't know this when I went to get my nose job before I even had a physical consultation, but I had a deviated septum, which just means this middle bit inside is slightly wonky basically, but you couldn't really tell from looking at it, I suppose, not unless you were a doctor. So my breathing is better now than it ever was before. So yeah, I think probably for the first 2 weeks couldn't breathe at all. After that, maybe around week, end of week 2, beginning of week 3, I could breathe. It just felt like I was breathing through a straw for both nostrils, and then slowly that straw got bigger, and probably around month 8 or 9, my breathing was back to what it was before, the normal. But then probably around month 9, 10, 11, give or take, my breathing just was better. I can now breathe through my nose on its own, and it works. Okay, the next questions is swelling, so I'm going to try and answer as much as I can about swelling. You need to know, post nose job swelling is no joke. People don't talk about it. They expect to go in for a surgery and then 1-2 months later, 3 months later even, have this nose. That does not happen. This took me over a year. I'm calling it 1 year post-op. It's more than 15 months, and this is what we're looking like now. I've got highlighter on there and there, but otherwise that's it. So it takes a while to get this far along in your healing journey. Do I still get swelling today? Yes, I do, but only when I fly. So as long as I tape my nose when I'm on a plane, I'm fine. I don't need to worry about it. Sometimes I wake up and it's a bit swollen, but it goes down within an hour, so I don't really think about it anymore, to be honest with you. But no, I don't get swelling anymore. Swelling 1 month versus today, I'm going to show you my table pictures here, and then about 1 month post-op was there, and then this is what I am today. So it still looks like the same nose that was on the table and 1 month. It's just smaller and more defined. Here's a close-up look at me. So yeah, it looks like that. There you go. Having a crooked nose, because of swelling, or is it structural? I can't really comment on it because I never had a crooked nose throughout my whole healing journey. They say that your nose can go back to what it was before. If it wants to go left, it's gonna go left. I don't know anything about that though. If you're concerned about the shape of your nose, just get in contact with your surgeon. They're the only one that knows what they've done to you and what the situation was before they opened you up. So you're gonna have to ask them. Kind of in the same vein as swelling is bumps, little hard lumps that you get here, where there's actual bone. I did develop bumps. I had one right there. I can it's not there anymore. I can just muscle memory. I know where it was, and it's not. It's gone now. But basically what that is like a cut on your skin. It scabs over, except when it's bone, it's made of bone scab, so it feels hard. In my case, I was told to massage it gently and just to continue taping to make sure that, if you have a really big scab, the scar tissue that's going to develop underneath is going to be big. Whereas if you make sure to keep that scab flat, it's going to scar flat underneath it, if that makes sense. So yeah, that was my case with the bumps. And I'd say I developed them probably around week 3 or 4. And then they took another 2 or 3 weeks to go down properly, to the point where you couldn't see them anymore, but I could still feel them for another couple of months. And then now I can't. It just feels like the shape that my surgeon has chopped my nose into. Next question is about taping. Now, each surgeon gives different instructions for taping. My doctor was super strict. I had to tape 24/7 for months on end, and I had to wear these nostril retainers that I do not miss because they were kind of painful. Not painful, they were just uncomfortable. So yeah, my doctor was very strict when it came to healing and stuff. I had to tape for 24 hours a day for months on end, and then more months on end just at night. So it was a long journey for me in taping. That's different for each surgeon, so you're going to have to ask them what their instructions are, because you can't follow my surgeon's instructions unless you go with my surgeon, because otherwise, you know what I mean? You need to follow what your doctor says and what they've done for you and your case specifically. Would I do it again? Yes, I would do it again. I'm so happy with my new nose. I mean, look at it. Isn't it cute? Like, is it exactly what I wanted? No, but I knew that going in because I had the consultation with my doctor and he told me the certain things that you can't do. Like, for instance, I wanted my nose to be shorter, so like this bit here to be closer to my face to match my chin, because I don't know if you can tell, but I have an underdeveloped chin. I'm okay with that. I don't mind it. It doesn't make me feel bad. People like to comment on it, but I just leave her alone. It's a complicated surgery to get that fixed, and it's just not for me. So he said that we have to give you a nose that will suit your face as it is now, and your face if you ever want to get your chin done. And I was like, great, okay, that's fair. So I knew that going in that my nose wasn't going to be exactly what I asked for in the initial consultation. Next question I get is, did my nose heal similar to 1 month post-op, as well as did it heal similar to what the table pictures are? I'll let you guys decide. Like, there's the table pics and there's me 1 month post-op, and here's me now. So from front, from like underneath, I'm pretty sure the table pictures look at my nostrils, and then from the side, and then this side, like, I think it does. I think it looks the same. Not exactly, but I'm okay with that. Would I change anything? No, absolutely not. I feel like when people go and get their first nose job and then they're like, oh, can I just tweak this or just tweak that or just make this a bit more like this? And then they come out of it and they're unhappy because, oh, well, I now have a bump there because of scar tissue. And I'm like, well, a cut's a cut. Like, you know, you take every time you're opened up, you're taking a risk on how you're going to heal. So if you get to a point where you're like mostly happy with your nose, stick with it. Don't go for a second surgery unless you're botched, because you're just taking on unnecessary risks, especially if this is better than what you had before. Learn to love it. Do I miss my old nose slash face? No. These are my before pictures, and I did not like them then. I do not like them now. I don't have many pictures of me from before because I was a nightmare, like in group photos. It was just like I had to angle myself to a certain point so I, you couldn't tell that my nose looked the way it did. And I didn't realize how self-conscious I was. Like, I'd have my hair done, my makeup done, a cute outfit on, my boyfriend telling me I'm gorgeous. Doesn't matter. I couldn't see past the nose on my own face. So I feel like my surgeon, he just, freed the nose that was underneath this whole time. This is the nose that I had in my head. But then when I'd look at myself in the mirror or in pictures, I was like, this is that girl, I don't know her. Next one is kind of related to swelling. Is my nose still hard? So if you don't know this, after you get a nose job, your nose doesn't feel like a normal nose. Like, I can't squint. Like, this is me pressing my nose as hard as I can before it hurts. So I can wiggle it, which I don't know why I'd want to do that, but it moves. But this way, there is still minimal movement there. That's it. I can't press it more than that. So yes, my nose is still hard, and I'm 15 months post-op now. So I don't care, like, who goes around booping people's noses. No one. Next part is, could I have gone alone? Because I went to Turkey, and I will tell you guys who my surgeon is, don't worry, because I'm finally comfortable with revealing that. But yeah, I went to Turkey, and I don't recommend going alone, because I was looked after in the hospital. There were nurses, but they were there to keep me, alive. They weren't there to make sure that my healing journey was as perfect as could be, because they've got other patients on the ward that aren't just there for, a nose job. I went to a normal Turkish hospital. It was like a private hospital, but, people were going in there. There was an A&E department, there was a delivery ward for babies. Like, it was a normal hospital. So they're not there to cater to your every whim. Whereas if you've got someone with you, I had my boyfriend, but if you've got a mum, sister, brother, father, whoever, just a friend even, they're there to cater to you specifically and your little whiny needs. Like, I wanted pineapple juice the second I was allowed to drink. Like, the nurses aren't going to go get me that because, here's water, shut up. And ice as well. They'll bring you ice when you request for it. But when you're out of surgery, you're completely high, okay? You don't know what's what. So I needed someone there to make me ice. I didn't want to ice as a patient. I didn't want to, but my boyfriend had been given strict instructions to not let me do that and to make me ice. So he was there, like, kind of force feeding ice cubes onto my eyeballs. And he did that for the first 24 to 48 hours. And to be honest with you, if he hadn't been there to do that, I honestly think my eyes would have swelled shut. Like, here's a picture of how bad I was swollen. Pretty bad, as you can tell, but around my eyes, I don't look too bad. They're mostly just bruised. But if, like, from the bruising, I'm guessing if I hadn't been iced, my eyes would have swelled shut. And I do tend to bruise like a peach. Like, I get a black eye from, like, this spot gave me a black eye. Like, I'm very sensitive to things like that. So I'm pretty sure without him icing me constantly the way he did, I wouldn't have been able to heal the way I did. And another reason that you want someone there for you is because when you're sick after a surgery, you don't know how sick you are. So for my rhinoplasty, I was fine. I was okay. But I have had other surgeries in the past that aren't cosmetic related, so don't try and spot it on me. And I wasn't very well afterwards, but I didn't realize how sick I was. So I needed the person that was there to help me tell me, no, we should call someone, like you look green. You know, I was like, oh no, I'm fine, let me just get in the shower. And then I nearly passed out in the shower. So if I hadn't been able to call for help, I'd probably been stuck on the shower floor for a couple hours until I could like get myself up again. So you need someone there who's, you know, of sound body and mind, and as well just for your mental health, because you're going to have so many little worries and stresses leading up to it. I was only there for 24 hours before I had my operation, but oh my god, my head was spinning. I was like, oh man, I can't do this, like I'm stressing out. And I needed someone there to go, calm down, rationally, you're being ridiculous. You've done so much research into it, you've done so much work and effort, you know this is going to go well, chill. So could I have gone alone? I'm going to say no, but if you're going to go alone, if you're brave enough to do that, I really recommend you either getting a nurse or staying in one of those recovery centres where it's like a hotel slash nursing home type thing for people who get surgeries. So I recommend staying in one of them at least the first 4 days, and then after that you're fine to go on your own. Like after 4 days I could have been on my own and I would have been fine, but day of surgery, day before surgery, a few days afterwards, nope, I needed help. Even just for drinking, like I was exhausted, I couldn't get up to go and get my own juice, and I wanted straws and I wanted ice and just little things like pass me my charger. Like it was an exhausting task just being awake. Was I worried about my results? No, I was not worried about my results, and I think this is because I went into it with the mindset of anything other than botched and my original nose is fine. Anything other than that, I am happy. And I got what I wanted in the end, but I would have been happy if it had turned out worse, if that makes sense. Like I really made sure that that was in my head. I didn't have exact after pictures in my mind. I had edited some pictures to show my doctor to be like, this is what I want, hoping that you can do it for me. But honestly, anything that's like this is enough. And like barely edited like just the bump off my nose and was like, that's it. If you can just do that, then so be it. And last but certainly not least, who was my surgeon? So I'm going to talk you through the process of why I decided to go to Turkey a little bit. So I talked to a couple of doctors and I had a few consultations with a few different doctors. I spoke to a doctor in Belgium who he quoted me 10 grand for my nose. And then during the consultation, he was so arrogant. He then was like, and your chin's a right mess as well. We need to get that fixed. That'll be another 6,000. I was like, excuse me? 16,000, I think it was euros. 16,000 euros. And 10 of them is for my nose and 6 is for a problem that I don't even think is a problem. Like functionally, yeah, maybe, but aesthetically, no, I'm not here for that. Leave me alone. Don't touch my chin. Don't talk about my chin. Leave my little chin alone. And I'm sorry, but it's not that bad. Like from the front, it's fine. Okay, from the side, I have a weak chin. So be it. I'm fine with that. I don't want a big, strong, Squidward looking chin. I'm fine. And then I spoke to some other doctors. I spoke to some doctors in Paris and they were good. They gave me good vibes. It was just more a case of like their results. They were good results, don't get me wrong, but they were too natural. They were not even natural. They were too close to the original nose. I was like, I want natural results that are nothing to do with my original nose. And I could just tell they couldn't do that. And no, not for me. I looked into some doctors in the UK as well, in London, like up north, and same thing as in Paris. The results that I was seeing, they just weren't it. So very nervously started looking at doctors in Turkey, and I realized I didn't want to go with the clinic, so I did not go to a clinic. I'm sorry to say, I just don't think that that's the right thing to do for cosmetic surgery, because when you go to these clinics, they basically assign you a doctor, but you don't know exactly for sure who your doctor's going to be. You can ask for a certain doctor, they can say yes, and then you turn up on the morning of and you've got a different doctor. Nightmare. Or best case scenario, you do get the doctor you want, but when you go in for your checkups, like, you know, day 1, day 2, day 3 after surgery, you're dealing with a different doctor. Excuse me, how do you know what's going on in my face if you weren't in the operating room chopping me up? Like, no. So I went with a doctor who has his own clinic, and his name is Dr. Ilka Kosak, and he was fantastic. I consulted with a few other individual doctors as well, but the reason I went with him is because he wasn't a salesman. The other doctors were like, don't worry, honey, we'll look after you, darling. You don't need to worry. You'll be beautiful. You're already beautiful. Like it just was salesman-y, and I'm like, I'm not here to buy like a t-shirt. I'm here to have plastic surgery on my face. So I need a doctor who is a doctor. And I'm from France, so I'm used to doctors telling me how it is. If I ask you a question, answer it to me in a medical manner. If I don't understand it, I'll either ask what you mean, or I'll go away and research the words you've just said to me, but don't just glaze over it with everything will be fine, don't worry your pretty little head about it. No, I didn't want that. And Dr. Ilka Kosak is not like that. He is extremely straightforward. He is not there to hold your hand. He is there to do his job. And his job is to give you a nice nose. That's it. So if you want a lovey-dovey doctor, don't go with him. That's not what I went with him for. I went with him because I knew he could give me what I wanted. And I knew he was the best out there that I could find anyway. How much was it? Like £2,800, which back in 2023, end of 2023, that was like kind of mid-level pricing. Like you could get some rhinoplasties for like less than £2,000, and then some would cost like up to maybe 4 for like a complicated case. Like if you're on, rhinoplasty number 3, and you want to go with a really good doctor, that's how much they charge, like 4 to 6. But mine wasn't a complicated case. First time goer, never had any filler, so that's how much he ended up charging me. And with his pricing, something to keep in mind as well is he made sure that I was aware that the price may go up a little bit depending on what happened in the surgery, because he might need to use grafts from ear cartilage if you don't have enough in your nose, basically, if that makes sense. Like they need to structure your tip with cartilage to make sure that it's just, the way it's supposed to be. And if you don't have enough of that already in your nose, they'll go and take it from your ear. And if he does that, he charges a little bit extra. I think it was only like an extra £500. So I knew that could have been the case anyway. But yeah, that price includes the hospital stay. I got to stay one night, all the food, and it doesn't include the drugs. I ended up having to spend probably £50, if that, on meds. Like painkillers, antihistamines, antibiotic ointment, antibiotics, like all of that was about less than £50, I'm going to say. And that also covered some tape and the retainer that I had to wear. I had a nose retainer up my nose, which was awful, not going to lie. But it's the reason that my nostrils look the way they do. I mean, look at them. Look at my little nostrils. They're so perfect. So anyway, that's it. I think that's all the questions that I can remember anyone ever asking me. And yeah, I hope that this has been helpful. If you've got any questions, comment down below. I'm more than happy to answer them. So that's it for today's videos, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you've got any questions, please comment down below. If you want to know more about rhinoplasties or anything like that, please do subscribe. I've got loads of videos. And yeah, thanks for watching. Bye!